Yetta, it's really, really great to see you.
Moving forward with the Decker team. Moving forward together with the Decker team.
Welcome to another episode, because it is great to see you as well on another episode of Life's Inside Track. And I'm Yetta Decker.
I'm Ken Decker.
And we're excited because we get to share techniques, thoughts, and tips that we all need. We all deserve. You, I, everyone. So we can turn our house into home where our families thrive and we live the best life possible. You know, Ken, it is good to be seen by you, and it's even nice to see you.
Nice.
Yeah.
You know, that's a Kenyan saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of saying hello, they say,
I see you.
I see you.
Well, they don't say it in English, but in the language.
How do they say it?
I do not remember.
You don't remember how to say I see you?
No, I had it really good, but I don't remember.
How about in Danish?
We're not doing a Danish show right now.
We're not doing language?
We're not doing language skills.
Okay,
We're
good.
doing, and yet it's interesting in this episode, what you're going to learn is when you actually see a person beyond their physicality, but actually see who they be and who they are, not only do you get a chance to grow, they grow. And in fact, the relationship has an amazing opportunity, has set the stage for the relationship to grow.
I know sometimes when you talk about me in a flattering way, you know, acknowledging the good things I've done or the great things I've done, I grow because my head gets so swollen that sometimes I don't think I can get through the door.
And that's not what we're actually talking about. We're talking about growing in our internal sense of ourselves, having a better understanding of who we actually are. Because have you ever found yourself assessing yourself, or what we might call judgment?
All the time.
The word assessing is just a polite version of judging.
We're all judging machines. You can't stop judging.
You can't. And you can do harmful or helpful judging. Because I want to judge if it's safe to cross the street. I want to judge if it's safe to drive slower or quicker in my car, depending on the weather. I want to be in judgment around those things that make sense for me to be judging.
Yeah, like I judged the other day. I was cleaning the snow off of my car, and a coworker's car was behind mine, and I cleaned off their car too. So that was a judgment that maybe they might feel that act of love.
Right. So judgment in that sense is determining what makes the most sense, what works well. What we're talking about here is when you see another person or yourself and you move into a state of judgment around your shortcomings or their shortcomings for that matter, that kind of being seen isn't so helpful.
What about the judgment when I saw you in grade 12 math class? And I said, ooh, I think she might be my future wife. What about that kind of judgment?
Sometimes that can work. And so really what we're looking
for me.
It did work for both of us, I guess. So what we're looking for is when you see another person looking for what they're doing right, how they're showing up in a way that serves them and serves you. Because as Ken said, although he jokingly said his head swells, it actually has never swollen from that kind of thing. Only from illness. That's more mine, I guess, than yours, right?
But even though your brain swelled, your head was the same size. I just saying.
Just saying. Okay, fair enough. And so what we're talking about is when you can, or I can, see you and see the nice thing that you've done and actually acknowledge you for it, it has a chance to grow your self-confidence, and it has the chance to grow our relationship. And it may even, have you ever noticed that the things you either judge in other people, or those things that, like a negative judgment,
like are really hard to tolerate in somebody?
Yeah, those
that
things.
Kind of thing?
That stuff. That often it's actually a thing in yourself that doesn't work very well at times.
Yeah, because you can't see it in someone else unless it's in you.
It's difficult, right? And so when I tell you you're really, really generous, I bet I have some sense of my generosity as well. Not that that's why I'm doing it. It's just if we have no understanding of the concept for ourselves, it's difficult to have an understanding of the concept for another person.
Right.
So the reason you both grow, This is really good stuff,
I
Ken.
want to hear it. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm patiently waiting to get my next word in.
Oh, your next 3 words. So the reason this works so well when you can be complimentary to another person, so you're still judging, you're just judging for good stuff rather than negative stuff, is it also allows you to build your own self-confidence. It's kind of like, without meaning to, it's kind of like when you give a gift, you get the joy of having given the gift and seeing the joy on somebody else's face. It's kind of like that.
Okay, so when I'm being truly seen, I want to be seen for who I be, my character. Very difficult until I have actions that prove my character, right? But I want to be seen for my character. I want to be seen as a child of God. And I also want to be seen for what I do, right? The actions I take, I would like to be seen for those. Basically recognized. How about that word?
Acknowledged, recognized, appreciated.
Celebrated.
Any of those words. And, one word may fall flat for you. Like the word celebrate, it took me a long time to actually embrace. Whereas I know
for the longest time you wouldn't put on the cheerleader outfit and celebrate, my wins.
And yet acknowledging was it easier. So also finding the way that it works for the other person and for yourself to be appreciated, acknowledged, celebrated, honored, what might be another word that you might want to use. And so it's kind of a fun game that we have learned to play.
Celebrating each other. And you know what? The first step to that was even asking what we wanted to be celebrated for. Because sometimes I'm in one office, you're somewhere else, some great things have happened. And when we get together, I'd like to be celebrated for what I did or accomplished or served or helped somebody or whatever. And you won't know to acknowledge it, right?
Absolutely. And the interesting thing with being seen is sometimes it can feel scary. We don't really want another person to know our inmost thoughts, maybe because they're not awesome or just because it feels vulnerable. Maybe they're awesome, but it feels risky. I've heard it said, and I've actually experienced it, that praising can often be more difficult than criticizing because it shows your heart.
And also sometimes it's difficult for the person receiving because they will deflect it. So if you're being seen for something great that you've done or something good, and you're being acknowledged for that, deflecting that compliment by saying, oh, it's nothing, or it's just my job, or, oh, don't say that, or, that kind of thing actually detracts from you being seen. And when you're seen, you will feel more connected, and I might even say less lonely.
Because that's really the point, right? When you are in an exchange where you're both being seen, loneliness seems to fall away. But
Absolutely.
You could be in a room. Have you ever been in a room full of people and still felt alone? I have.
Yes. Quite often I'll stand alone.
In the room. And so really what we're saying is it's not about how many people are around you. It's about whether you're taking the chance, you're taking the risk to really see another person and allowing yourself to be seen too.
We're grateful to be advocates of yours on your journey of both real estate and life.
Moving forward with the Decker team.